you had to be out of your mind watching UCLA on that run back in March.
No, it was unbelievable. I was so happy for Cronin and that whole squad. I was actually talking about them last night and how great it's just going to be for the program moving forward. Hopefully we can head back to that, being prominent in men's basketball and across the board for UCLA athletics. And it's just a special thing for such a storied university and storied program. So I'm really excited to see, where they're going to end up to start the season, but more importantly, next March when it comes time again, if they can back up what they did with their Final Four run.
It's just amazing how you watch a team sort of gain confidence and then gain steam and then gain an aura of invincibility.
Yeah.
What's the closest you've ever been to that? Obviously, we know what happened with the Cavs, but any other moment, or could you say that equates to that too?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really easy to say the 2012 Olympic team, but as far as I say all the time, after our 2016 championship, that 16-17 team the following year, I truly believe that was our not only most powerful team, but most together, most feeling of, like you said, that invincible. Every time we stepped on the floor, we knew we were going to get everybody's best shot, but we were used to that. We knew that every single night, those 82 nights of the regular season and then heading into the playoffs, that was going to condition us to really play at a very, very high level when the time came. And there was nothing that we hadn't seen from previous years. But that team was so together. We had so much talent, so many great veterans. And with Kyrie, LeBron, and myself, and the supporting staff and everybody involved and players were just amazing. And that feeling of togetherness and, playing at an extremely high level was just there.
So what did you make, Kevin Love, of LeBron saying he doesn't know if he'll ever be 100% again due to his high ankle sprain? What did you make of that comment?
Yeah, I mean, I think LeBron is somebody that, and moving forward out of this, has an extremely high threshold. And I've seen the work that he puts in. A lot of people don't get to pull back that curtain and see what's behind it and how hard that he works. And that could be, on the court, whether it be in the weight room or, just working on his overall body and how much he spends time-wise and money-wise on that. So I think, in his age and how many years and miles he has under him, that I don't know if that'll truly slow him down, but I do think that there's something to be said for, these playing games and teams, for example, like a Brooklyn, who has nagging injuries with KD, has nagging injuries with Harden, who's coming back from an injury not too long ago, and then being able to have this 8 to 10 days of practice time, of being on the floor together, of resting those injuries and potentially getting back to, if not 100%, close to it. So I think the playing game for the Lakers, especially going against a team with, who's essentially playing like the best player on the planet right now and, who's, could win MVP, despite the odds that were against them and Steph Curry, that's a little bit, tougher. That's going to wear on them. And they came off, 6 games in the finals in an unprecedented, shortest offseason ever, shortest offseason for any major sport. So I think all that really factors in and the time off and getting a rhythm. We always talk about that with somebody coming back from injury and getting their legs underneath them. And AD is really the same way. He's not, he's enough games back to where he's starting to look like himself, but I think tonight will be, very telling in that.
And obviously it would be crucial for the Lakers to just one and done this play-in tournament and then get some time off before their first round series against the Suns. And that would be a fun series to watch, no doubt about it. Kevin Love here on the Rich Eisen Show. Who is your MVP? I'd love to get your player perspective and your keen insight, also of the basketball knowledge. Who is your 2020-2021 MVP?
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard not to say the Joker. I mean, Jokic has been so unbelievable this year. I've had a couple seasons where I've been able to put up, be in the top 5 in scoring and then, top 5 in rebounding, but the fact that he's been able to not only do that, but have 8+ assists a night is just truly special. And he's proved it didn't miss the games like Joel. I mean, Joel would have been right there at the very top. I still think he's in very likely the top 3. And then it's really hard not to put Steph at the very top, if not number 2, with all that he's done and a historic run that he's had personally and playing his team that a lot of people didn't think were going to make it into the playoffs, into the play-in game, and just playing at almost an all-time high level if you compare the stats to his 2015-16 season where he was the unanimous MVP in that 73-9 season. So I'm not going to say it's a toss-up between the two because I still think the Joker is very likely the MVP, but I would have absolutely no problem and no pushback with putting. I know he'll get a fair share of votes as well in Steph Curry, and then probably 2A and 2B are definitely with Embiid, especially with what he's been able to do on both sides of the ball, as well as getting them into the first seed with his team, and I think Doc Rivers and everybody there has done a great job of putting them in that position.
So the best team you saw, whether you were active or not, this year, that you think's got the best shot here? What do you think?
Yeah,
Kevin
I mean,
Love?
it's so hard to because I was talking to somebody about this as far as the Western Conference goes. I don't know if we've ever seen the firepower quite like the teams that we saw, especially those finals runs. But I mentioned that 16-17 team that we had from it's well known, a 73-9 team, and the Warriors adds Kevin Durant and MVP, who went on to be two-time Finals MVP. So that's the most firepower I believe we've ever seen in this league in the Western Conference, maybe ever. And then with Brooklyn, you add Kyrie and KD, and then James Harden. So I don't know if in the Eastern Conference we've quite seen that before. So I don't know if those guys are all healthy and clicking. I don't know how you stop that. It's such a pace and space league. A lot of teams can outscore one another, but I just don't know if we've seen them enough on the court together to truly get a grasp on truly how great they can be. But on paper, they certainly look like the best team. But I would say if they're really clicking at a high level, that it's almost, I wouldn't say an easy answer, but natural to pick them as one of the favorites, if not the favorites, especially in that Eastern Conference.
Kevin Love, two-time NBA All-NBA team, five-time All-Star, 2016 NBA champion, current Cleveland Cavalier, right here on the Rich Eisen Show. The piece that you wrote, the first-person piece, I believe, for the Players Tribune on the subject matter of mental health awareness, certainly caught my eye. And now I'm thrilled to have you here now to discuss this very important subject matter because there's no cast, there's no crutch, there's no physical identification that somebody is hurting when it comes to mental health awareness. I'll give you the floor on what you're up to and what you want people to know on this subject matter, Kevin.
No, as we all know now, I think, in the last 12 to 14 months, especially through this pandemic and with social injustice being brought to the forefront of conversation, for me, I would say like the wildfires out west that took so many people out of their homes, either burned down their business or, people that lost everything, was extremely tough for so many people there, and how it affected the environment. And then on top of that, we had the election and then everything that came after that. So just in coming out of this time, I believe that the mental health conversation has come to the forefront. And, there's such a stigma around mental health issues. And so many people suffer in silence, don't know how to get started. So obviously, it's paramount that we provide resources. So with Genomind, it's allows you to see how your genes affect your mental wellness and your mental health. And it's just an unbelievable expert starting point, for your mental health journey. And they provide you information, actionable steps on the path to both physical and emotional wellness. It's really a special thing to see. And mental health is just such a function of four things, and that's genetics, environment, lifestyle, experiences. And really, we've only had access to 3 of the 4 of those things. But because of Genomind, we've been able to finally understand how your genes affect your mental health. And that could be from anybody. That can be from, your grandparents all the way to your grandchildren, and understanding that, we can better understand your predisposition and give you the tools to, overcome obstacles. So it's a special tool for people. And like I said, the resources coming out of this time will be vast, and this is one of the truly great ones.
Yeah, mentalhealthmap.com, and use the code of Kevin MHM for a mental health map to get 25% off your own Genomind mental health map to try and figure that stuff out. Do you deal with this stuff during a season, or just you wake up and you're like feeling off or something like that? Like, can you express that? Because it's so important to hear it from somebody like yourself who is successful in pretty much everything that you do. And, we live in an Instagram world as well, and we see your life on Instagram, and it looks phenomenal. But some, we've had so many athletes come on here and talk about mental health awareness, and it connects with so many of the listeners and viewers of this show, because everybody does know somebody. What's your experience with it, Kevin?
Yeah, I think, to your point, and to piggyback off of that, we live in such a curated world as far as social platforms and social media, where it can be extremely misleading to how people are actually feeling in their lives and the struggles that they have. I think it's a beautiful thing. I wouldn't be here and speaking about this without DeMar DeRozan and his willingness to share his depression. Dak Prescott, same thing. I even mentioned Paul George within the bubble, and I think you see that across both men's and women's sports at the highest level, and it's a beautiful thing to share with people, and understanding this thing doesn't discriminate. Success is truly not immune to depression, and people continue to speak about it and breaking down that stigma and providing a language for others to express themselves and come out of the shadows is truly important. And to answer your first question, this is something that I live with every single day. I've had to change my relationship with in a major way, whether it be my anxiety, or my depression, and just, understanding there's no quick fix for this. And that's why, even speaking about Genomind is so important, just understanding how these different things, affect you every single day, and how you can truly, have an action plan and many resources out there that are affordable for people to start this journey, especially coming out of this time, because it's going to be so needed.
Kevin, I appreciate the time. Hopefully we could do this more often. I enjoy, hearing you talk, and I enjoy what you have to say, and obviously what you do on the court. You had a nice finish to the season as well. And I assume that you've got nothing but upside in front of you there in Cleveland. I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you having me on, Rich.
Thanks for the call. Thanks for the call, Kevin. That's Kevin Love, everybody, at Kevin Love on Twitter and Instagram.